Welcome to Lords of the Long Box, countdown to Crisis of Infinite Earths of reviews. But first, we got a special scoop for you guys from my man Mikey Sutton. So let's just kick it off, right, boys and girls? This is how we do.
Bust it. Shake and bake and pull it back.
Oh my God.
Hold on and get some, boys.
This scoop is brought to you by our friend Mikey Sutton over at the Geekosity Facebook page. He had a little contest, and you had to submit a little video, and then he picked the winner. So let's see who won the contest. I do believe the contest winner is Anna Michelle Jimenez. Let's see what she has for us.
Hi, this is Anna Michelle from Geekosity. Here's the latest scoop from the one and only Mikey Sutton. DC Films is considering a Catwoman solo film, spun off from the new Batman trilogy. Exciting, huh? And you are watching Lords of the Long Box. Keep digging in those long boxes.
That's right, boys and girls. Keep digging in them long boxes. Thank you, Anna Michelle Jimenez, for the scoop. Let's get right into it, boys and girls. I got some deets, as the kids like to say, about this. This is from our man Mikey Sutton exclusive. Catwoman is in discussion for her own solo franchise spun off of Matt Reeves' The Batman trilogy. Warner Brothers has been yearning for their own Black Panther, and with Zoe Kravitz as Selena Kyle, they may have found the dream project. No talks of yet with Kravitz or any filmmakers, but it looks like it'll be inspired by Ed Brubaker's run in the comics. What do you guys think about that? Brian, Justin, I know you read it. And hey, shout out to my man Darkside Jedi for the awesome little Photoshop there. That's what Zoe Kravitz would look like as the Catwoman, Selena Kyle. What do you know about Ed Brubaker's run, Justin?
I mean, it was definitely a lot better than her first two series. Those 90s series wasn't the greatest thing that Catwoman had, but Brubaker definitely brought her more mainstream as far as an anti-hero. So, I'm really looking forward to, her stepping out of the shadows of Batman after his movie and really get her primed ready for a solo film.
Yeah, so the Brubaker run basically takes Selena Kyle and she kind of becomes a vigilante of East Gotham. There's a serial killer who apparently is killing all the prostitutes. So that's kind of a dark ass story, because typically you remember Catwoman as just kind of the cat burglar, hence the name Catwoman. And then she was kind of we all remember from Batman 66. We also remember her from the Golden and Silver Age, really, until she got rebooted. Did you see this relationship with her and Batman? So it'd be kind of interesting to see. And hopefully, I think they're trying to make us forget about Halle Berry time as Catwoman. But you know what? This kind of goes to show like the DC suits have saw the success of Joker, the solo film, right? And they saw the unsuccessful kind of financial gains that Justice League got. So why not make a movie for $100 million? And it already hit like what, 800 million at the box office. It could hit $1 billion. And I think they're seeing, remember Black Panther, same thing. You kind of like a cast of color, make $1 billion. Hopefully they're thinking if Selena Kyle's or Zoe Kravitz portrayal of Selena Kyle in the Batman is really well received, she definitely can get her own solo series, unlike the Halle Berry series, which that literally had nothing to do with Batman at all whatsoever.
Her name wasn't even Selena Kyle in that. It was a different name. I can't remember what her name was, but it wasn't even Selena Kyle.
So bad.
Granted, she was fine as hell in that, man. She looked good as hell, and praised Halle Berry for all the cosplayers we got after that. But I like especially the Adam Hughes run, the covers that he did on Catwoman. Those are some really great and to this day, I'd rather see Catwoman cosplay than Harley Quinn cosplay. Put it that way. I'm tired of seeing Harley Quinn cosplay.
A great writer though too. I haven't read that Catwoman. Now I'm kind of interested in trying to track it down. But I mean, Brubaker, keep in mind, also retconned Bucky, one of the character who was completely lame until Brubaker fixed that problem and made the Winter Soldier the badass that we know today. So, I mean, if you're going to take a writer story, Brubaker's a good one to take.
Yeah. Shout out to everybody in the live chat. My man Darkside Jedi, JLS Comics holding it down. Shout out to Sith Lordly, Cracked Mac, Chad Crow, and others. Justin Shields, I can't even pronounce this one. Mr. John Clark, Amazing Murfinator in the house, probably talking shit, rubbing it in about the Patriots again. Although I don't know, they didn't look too good against the Browns, but we'll digress from talking about sports. And let's get right to it, boys and girls. Let's talk about the Infinite Crisis on Infinite Earths. And I'm just going to throw this up there because I like it. All right, let's get right to it, boys and girls. So let's cover, always forget, Supergirl was first last week, right? Go ahead. What happened on Supergirl, Manimal?
Damn. So I'm kind of actually trying to struggle to remember. There wasn't a lot that happened in terms of the crisis coming up. It was more fallout with Jeff Johns. Sorry,
Jeff
Johns.
There you go. Yeah, Jeff Johns.
John Jones, the Martian Manhunter's brother, coming out there and them just kind of going up against him. God, I don't really remember what happened. There was nothing crisis related. It was kind of a slow, somewhat boring episode, to be honest with you.
Well, you had that alien host that she infected an ex-military person with the spiders.
Oh,
so she,
right. Yeah.
So basically, she had all these tattoos
there.
all over her, and she was able to infect people by basically like touching them, and having the tattoo was then put onto them. And it all started with the guy and her having sex in the bathroom at a bar. So,
why did you leave that major detail out of it, that she's infecting people with tattoos, having sex with them? But it's hard because we're trying not to spoil the episodes from yesterday. So our week starts Monday, but we're doing so. If you're worried about spoilers, we're not talking about last night's show. We're doing all the last week's show. So that's why you guys may want to change it up and watch them like on the weekend before our show on Monday. So we're still kind of catching our sea legs here. There
was a lot of like the Brainiac and the Dream.
Girlfriend, yep.
Yeah, kind of like storyline, which is kind of boring. And
right now I feel like there's like 3 stories going on. So you have Brainy and his girlfriend. You have from last week, you have, of course, John Jones and his brother Malekith. You have Jimmy Olsen and his sister, who got brought into this, where now she had the ability last week to tap into whatever Malekith sees, she sees. So
she's able to identify him when he's in a body.
Yeah, so she resonates through that, and then you have what's going on with now Supergirl and Lena, because now that they're so and so quote unquote friends, but Supergirl doesn't know that.
I think that Supergirl out of all the CW shows is the most soap opera-ish, I think.
Yeah.
Right. And when it was on CBS, it was even more super opera. I think it's more superhero-ish now that's on CW. And I still think Melissa Benoist is hot as hell, man. So she gets a pass for whatever it is. So next up on the show, chronologically, is Batwoman. How you guys digging Batwoman? I'll start with you, Justin, since you probably just saw it.
Oh, I'm loving it. Every episode has been great. Now this episode, we finally get our first appearance of her with the red hair, the correct cape, the red suit, the red symbol. This one introduces
the correct cowl too.
Yeah, it's better. It's definitely there.
That first outfit was, I think it's purposely made to look goofy because obviously it was made for a man because they keep on putting it in the trailer. Now make it for a woman.
Right.
But this episode is great. It introduces one of Batman's more newer villains, a great villain, Tommy Elliott.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Who isn't who he is yet, but I think they will lead into that. So if you guys do know the DC universe of villains, he does become Hush, but he does play, a friend of Bruce Wayne when he was younger. So that's really interesting. Of course, you have the fallout between what's going on with Beth, Alice, and Kate. So. I mean, I'm liking it. It's the only thing I have a problem with is they're trying to introduce too many characters that people don't resonate with because it's just throwing everybody at you real quick. Like there's Beth, there's Kate, you have their father, their mother, their stepmother. So there's just so much things. Her ex-girlfriend, and now they have this new girl who is kind of dating her. So it's just a lot.
Yeah. What about you, man? What'd you think about Batwoman?
Yeah,
and also, are there any crisis tie-ins yet? I would imagine
no. And I like it well enough. I don't think I'm liking it as much as Justin is. I do. My complaints are still the same, where it just doesn't feel like Batwoman to me. It really just feels like Batman in a female form. You know, it's not. She's not by herself. She's not as strong as she. I mean, man, dude, Batwoman. I've said it before, and I'm probably repeating myself, but Batwoman is so strong as a character in the DC universe. She's on her own. She operates alone. She doesn't have a support system for the most part, and I think they're kind of taking that away from her. To be honest with you,
I think it's still early.
Yeah, and it's still early, but I already like how they already put a twist in there that you see the stepmom or her half mother, or is that her stepmom, whatever, not a half mother, is already kind of turned to the bad side, as you could say. So, but I like the grit of it, as it looks more like Gotham to me than you know,
very dark.
for sure. Yeah, very dark. And I'm telling you, man, there's scenes in it that are very Nolan-esque, like when they show like the buildings. You know, it's like wide shots that Nolan used to love using in The Dark Knight on his runs.
Oh yeah.
But so far, I mean, you know, it's good. I mean, you know, it's gonna be there for a while because you know, Arrow's leaving, Supernatural's leaving.
It just got picked up for the final 9 episodes, so it's gonna be a full season. 20.
Yeah, we're getting a full season of it. And by the way, it was the news dropped today that CW is working on a Superman and Lois Lane series.
True.
The Lords dropped that on September 4th. If you remember that show, we told you CW is working on a Superman series based on the Man of Steel comics, and our spec back then was Man of Steel #1. And also shout out to whoever said Man of Steel #1 is the first ever comic variant created. So you see how that tie all that into comic books and stuff like that. But anyway, just want to say that Mike had posted that we had got it right. So comicbook.com reported today. We reported on September 4th on our show that DC was and CW was indeed working, and it's going to be Tyler Hoechlin. Is that how you say his name?
Close enough. Probably.
Yeah, basically the Superman that you see in this in Supergirl.
You know, Inhuman Quake brought up a good thing too that I forgot. There was an awesome little Riddler reference in that Batwoman episode from Tommy Elliott, which was cool. So that's kind of fun. It's fun to see, you know, knowing
she's like Batwoman's Joker, right? Her sister's Alice, right?
Yes.
Yeah, no. I'm saying Tommy Elliott mentioned that he got the information about Bat and Bruce being from the Riddler. Did you catch that little reference?
I don't remember that one, but obviously next week, if you watch last night's episode, there was another reference to a Batman villain.
Oh, no, funny. I haven't watched that one yet, but yeah,
we can't talk about that.
Yeah, we can't talk about that, but
you guys gonna have to information. So do what I did, and I failed at it, was watch them all like over the weekend. But I kind of fell asleep and pissed off my girlfriend because we were supposed to be watching a Halloween movie. But we'll get to that story. And if you want to see how my night was, go watch The Wolf of Wall Street. I was in DiCaprio last night. All I remember is waking up like fully refreshed. I was like, man, I feel great. It's 7 a.m. I'm gonna go off to work. And but I guess some bad stuff had happened. Next up, I believe, is Flash, right? Flash and Arrow, right?
Yes.
Flash.
Yeah, the last week man, I feel like Flash and Arrow are both kind of going through the same things, man. So easily the best actor of all the CW shows is the Indian guy from Flash. If I remember him from back when that show Heroes was on, remember he was the narrator of that. The first
he was the scientist. Yeah, he was awesome, man.
Yeah, I mean he is a great actor for CW. So in this series, there's a bit of a zombie type guy who's full of dark matter, and I don't know if the doctor on the Flash, is he comic accurate to anything?
Yeah, there is blood work in the New 52 or maybe Rebirth that they introduced him.
Yes.
What's his Rebirth. Yeah, because they dropped the Blue Beetle's name again, Ted Cord.
Yeah, they did drop Ted Cord ref.
No, wait, was that in Arrow or Flash? No, it was in Flash.
He dropped it. He got the dark matter from Ted Cord.
Yeah. And then I remember Ted Cord was in like season 1 of Arrow, but I don't think they ever said he was the Blue Beetle. But that's kind of interesting how they throw these nuggets at you, but you got to be hardcore DC to like a lot of times when I watch Flash and Arrow, I have to Google things just to see if they have anything to do with the comics, because sometimes they are, and you were just not familiar with them. But so let me try to remember what happened in Flash now. Flash, we got this is the funniest part of Flash is the appearance of another what's his name? Harrison Wells. Yeah. Harrison Wells. Yeah. And he kind of zooms in like Indiana Jones, and I think even Cisco refers to him as Indiana Jones. And apparently there's there's a council of them, like a multiple Harrison. It reminds
Council
me.
Wells. Yeah.
Yeah.
A council reminds me of. Do you guys remember the FF run where there was a bunch of different Reed Richard timelines
Right,
that
yeah.
all got together? That's what that reminds me of. Just like the other week they're doing Flash and his 14 billion possibilities, like Doctor Strange. I'm telling you, man, Flash is totally doing Marvel storylines and just throwing it in there. So we meet this zombie guy, and once Flash, I think the biggest take from this show that ties into Crisis is the Flash finally tells the rest of his team what he has to do and what's going to happen. And he tells them that, you know, he all sees them die. And then there's a good scene with Frost, how she's acting the way she is, Killer Frost, because she's like saying, look, you just told me I'm going to die and I haven't lived my life yet. You know, it's kind of messed up. And then as soon as she says, I'm 30 years old and never had a birthday party, I immediately go, they're going to have a birthday party in this episode. You know what I mean? But even then, even like a Flash for its budget, I still think Flash has the best costume out of all of them, right? The most comic accurate. What do you think about this episode, Manimal?
There was, I liked it. I mean, yeah, like you said, Flash and Arrow are definitely the two that are the most Crisis heavy right now. There was a little bit of a Shazam shout out too with the Harrison Wells shooting or looking for that Eternium, which is, you know,
is that a real thing? Eternium? Is that a real thing?
Yeah, so that's what the Rock of Eternity, the throne that the wizard Shazam wizard sits on, is made out of.
So for those who don't know, this version of what's his name, Harrison Wells basically had this red rock and he called it Eternium, and then the Cisco kind of laughed at him. Immediately I thought about He-Man for some reason, right? Eternia, like Eternium, you know, I don't know. So any ties into Crisis that you could tell there, Justin?
I mean, of course, they're really just doing the backlash of, like Manimal said, that he tells the entire team that it's coming, and you know he's trying to stop it somehow.
They mentioned antimatter a little bit throughout this, which, you know, is shouting out the anti-monitor coming and like the wave and stuff. So there's little subtle references, and this one was really kind of like a training episode where he was training Frost to, you know, live on past him type situation. So
I even find it interesting that this is like the first season that they have the villain. I mean, he is the villain, but he comes in and helps, you know, Flash. I mean, he doesn't know that he's the person who created that zombie character,
right?
And he doesn't know that he's going to be obviously the season-long villain. But the fact that they're working together so early, you know, you've never seen that in another Flash. I mean, other than season one, I know, you know,
you're talking about the Doctor, right?
Yeah, the Doctor, when they're working.
Yeah, but then
together.
at the very end of the episode, you kind of see he get, you know, the evil Doctor. Like, you know, they start with good intentions, and then whatever they ingest. What's funny to me is how he ingested it. He decided to just throw it against the wall. Right?
Yeah,
he could have just. Yeah, he could have just he just opened it and just took it in. But it was cool how they saw how you know, they killed the, I don't even know if that's a real character or not, the zombie guy that was full of dark matter.
Yeah, which did you get the reference? Romero, his name was Mitch Romero. Like,
really? Oh, like George Romero done it. Oh, okay, because you know, clever. Because I know this week they're going to go heavy on Halloween stuff. So, because it was in the little tease at the end, how they said, oh, happy Halloween. So, you know, you can expect some type of horror stuff. And don't forget, boys and girls, the Lords will be going live on Wednesday. Manon will be there, Justin, Otto. Hopefully you guys go in costume. Can you guess what costume I'll be in? All right. Well, All right. So make sure we're in costume. We got some big news to drop on you guys on Wednesday's show. It's going to be a great show, an exclusive from Amanda Black Knight and Mikey Sutton, and you're going to dig it, man. At least I am going to dig it. It has, let's just say it has something to do with some, everybody was kung fu fighting. I'll just leave it at that. Let's go to Arrow, man. Arrow, great episode. I am digging this season of Arrow. I haven't said that in a good 3 or 4 years that I've said this is a fully fleshed out season, because it has everybody who's ever been on Arrow is one of. So this episode, he wakes up in Hong Kong, which is like the beginning of what, season 3 in his flashback, right? I think it was season 3 where he wakes up in Hong Kong.
3 or 4, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. The for some reason, the Monitor can't do all this work himself. So he's sending the Arrow across the multiverses to pick. And this time he needs to get something from Dr. Wong, who created something called the Alpha Omega agent. It's like a poison that was used by Ra's al Ghul actually in one of the seasons of Arrow. So that's the tie in there. What's cool about this episode is we saw Katana who's not the
Yep.
same one that was in Suicide Squad, but she was in an early season, I believe, of Arrow. And we also saw, what was her name?
China White. You got
China White.
One of the first
Kristen-
villains.
Yeah, damn, she looks great. She still looks the same, man. We're talking. Remember her in like
Lady
X-Men
Deathstrike.
2?
Yeah.
Lady who?
Lady Deathstrike.
Yo, she has not aged, dude. She looked, and there was some great action scenes on here. I will say this, man. That one dude who plays Connor Hawk, the African American dude, looks like a young babyface. Remember that Babyface to Reed? Maybe I'm the only one who remembers that. You know, old R&B man. He looks like Babyface, a young Babyface.
But how boring is that future story? It's just not
It's
engaging.
tedious.
I'm constantly like, okay, go back to the present. It's horrible.
Every season of Arrow, I struggle with the flashbacks, and now I'm struggling with the flash forwards. And the flash forward started last season, I believe, right?
And ever since you brought it up, I hate you for this too. It's not that you were wrong, but ever since you brought it up, I cannot stop focusing on how tiny Arrow's daughter is and how she's like kicking people with the force.
Oh my God. You thought Batwoman was skinny,
50-pound
dude?
body.
Arrow's, the blonde Arrow in the future is about 80 pounds. I don't know how she's, you know what they say, jujitsu. It doesn't matter what.
Circle her bicep up like that pretty much.
Yeah. But, you know, I think, she's the future though, right? They're going to be using her version for our new CW show. So we're going to get more.
That's just, oof.
Yeah. So, you know, but the present tense Arrow was pretty badass, man. What did you think about it, Manimal?
It was dope. You know, I kind of like this nostalgic throwback, not of just the villains, but also just kind of like Oliver and Diggle. And even with Black Canary being there too, it feels very much early seasons of Arrow. Like they're on missions, just the 2 or 3 of them. But I really like the whole, I mean, I know Black Canary's there, but I like the Diggle and Arrow thing, just kind of going off, doing these little missions for the Monitor. I thought it was awesome, man.
Another thing interesting too is the little gadget that Cisco created to jump through multiverses. Apparently anybody can create one, because she takes it to a very, very stereotypical Asian character who looks like the guy from 16 Candles, right? The nerdy Asian guy with the glasses and the hair. So he creates the thing for her, and then he says it should be working. She goes, "Go bring it." And you know, I was thinking the entire time, well, it doesn't work because Earth 2 is no longer there. Sure enough, he says Earth 2 is destroyed. So she's stuck in this time period. And the big tie into this is at the very end, we find out that Harbinger, aka John Diggle's wife, is actually working with the Monitor. What about that, Justin?
That's crazy. I did not see that coming at all.
Yeah,
at all. So I actually thought watching the guy who Laurel went to, I actually thought that was going to be the newer, I guess, modern version of Toyman, because you know they had like an Asian Toyman in the more newer, like what was it, the Batman Superman comics that came out in the 2000s. So I really thought that's who that was going to be, but
there's actually I read somewhere on one of the ArrowVerse wiki pages that this is like Laurel seeing Earth 2 destroyed is directly from Crisis of Infinite Earths, when I forgot which 2 characters, but they see Earth 3 has been destroyed. So
did you catch too that there was kind of like, I mean, it was Lila, when she was telling Black Canary her whole story, she kind of implied that maybe she's been working with the Monitor for a very long time. Because remember, she told the story about how her unit in the army got killed, and she prayed to all the gods to take their place. And Black Canary asked, "Did anyone answer?" And she said, "Not exactly." So
Nice,
something kind of like maybe she's been like, maybe the Monitor hit her up way before even all this Arrow stuff started. And put her on
my guess is the Monitor has gotten her to be a plan B, just in case, you know, because, you know, you can't trust Oliver to do the right thing, because he's still like, you know, he wasn't supposed to mess with anything on Earth 2. And, you know, I think the Monitor alluded to, like, look, you kind of accelerated the destruction of Earth 2 by your actions, right? And then, you know, you just lost all your family again. So he kind of has them. I mean, you got to suspend belief a little bit. Like, you know, Oliver's on this mission. He's going to cross different Earths, you know, probably all 52 of them, you know, but why the Monitor just couldn't do it himself. But I'm pretty sure there'll be a reason why. And, you know, just it's comic book logic. It's just, try not to think too much about it. And then, it's like, trying to think about the show Lost. It's science fiction. Take it for what it is, but that's the big takeaway that I got from it. And I think Katana was badass. And also the way Siren took out China White was pretty badass too. And she's got I guess she's going to be with him now. I'm wondering if we're going to see more Earths get destroyed and he's going to pluck heroes out of each multiverse to become this kind of Team Arrow multiverse version. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like the one that they went with, what was it? The one where they have the Ray and
that show is still around, by the way.
It was like the Nazi when they went to the Nazi realm.
Yeah. Yes. By the way, the Arrow is still around. The Seed. If you don't know what the Seed is, then you can say, hey, $3 Theater says late. Shout out to $3 Theater. And just in case you guys have late, I'll run this again. This is from Ana Michelle Jimenez, who winner of the Geekosity scoop. And let's start it again, Sam. We'll close out the show since we got 5 more minutes. For those who are just joining us, this is the Catwoman scoop of the day.
Hi, this is Ana Michelle Geekosity. Here's the latest scoop from the one and only Mikey Sutton. DC Films is considering a Catwoman solo film, spun off from the new Batman trilogy. Exciting, huh? And you are watching Parts of the Long Box. Keep digging in those long boxes.
All right. So even though she got the Lords part cut off, she said Lords of the Long Box, keep digging in those long boxes. The scoop is, this is exclusive from Mikey Sutton. Catwoman is in discussion for her own solo franchise spun off of Matt Reeves' The Batman. Warner Brothers has been yearning for their own Black Panther. And with Zoe Kravitz as Selena Kyle, they may have found the dream project. No talks of yet with Kravitz or any filmmaker, but it looks like it'll be inspired by Ed Brubaker's run in the comics. So that is the Mikey Sutton exclusive, and that is pretty big. So we got this is our little cheap mock-up of Zoe Kravitz in her Catwoman suit. So I believe the Batman is going to start filming pretty soon. So very excited for DC finally doing some things right. So that's it for our wrap-up. Overall, I think Flash and Arrow were really good. Batwoman was okay, and I need to start watching Supergirl. But apparently, my man Milton's been watching it all, taking one for the team. Any last words, Milton the Manimal?
No, just I'm looking forward to next week's episode of Arrow for sure with the Nanda Parbat, with a little bit League of Assassins. That stuff will be good, and it's picking up, man. We'll see how it goes.
We need Ra's al Ghul back. He's got to be back eventually. I mean, we saw Merlin back, but he was Ra's al Ghul in one season, right? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah.
If he was Ra's al Ghul, then Arrow became Ra's al Ghul. Anyway.
Yeah, he was the last Demon's head.
Nemesis Prime, any last words?
Nothing. See you guys on Wednesday. Be sure we are here. The Lords.
All right. Milton, Zach, or Milton, Justin, Otto, myself, we'll be back on Wednesday. We got a big Black Knight report. We're going to be teasing some kung fu goodness in the MCU, man. You're going to not miss this. And we got some cool books that have been spec'd on that if you haven't heard already, we're going to drop some more. And so we'll see you Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific. Till next time, boys and girls, as Anna said, keep digging in them long boxes. Peace out.
Bust it. Shake and bake and pull it back.